Having a knee replacement is a major life decision. And so, if you're going to do it, you want to do it right. Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Candy, and in this video, I'm going to share the top 5 mistakes that people make after having a knee replacement so that you can avoid them. Now, overall, knee replacement surgeries are really pretty successful, but there's still about 20% of people who continue to have persistent knee pain even 1 year or more after having a knee replacement. And for a huge surgery like a knee replacement, where they take out a part of your body, a 1 in 5 chance of having it not fix your knee pain, which is the primary reason why people have a knee replacement in the first place, is really pretty high. Now, fortunately, research has found people who are at a higher risk for having a bad outcome or persistent pain after knee surgery. And so I want to share with you what some of those things are so that you can avoid them. So, the number one mistake after a knee replacement actually really starts before having knee replacement, and that's not being in the right mindset going into knee replacement. Now, I mentioned there are research based predictors of people who are more likely to have bad outcomes. And you'd think it would be the degree of arthritis, or your range of motion, or your knee alignment, or your quad strength. But what research shows is, based on many, many, many studies that have studied this topic, that the top predictors of people who are going to have persistent pain after knee replacement are actually more things like pain catastrophizing, mental health conditions like anxiety or depression, high levels of pain before knee surgery, or widespread pain in other areas. For example, if you have back pain or hip pain or neck pain along with having your knee pain. Now, you wouldn't really expect those, but when you look at knee pain as a biopsychosocial phenomenon, it really kind of makes sense that when you do the knee replacement, you're taking out the knee arthritis. You're changing the biology, or you're fixing the biology if that was really truly the problem. So if that's the only problem, then you're really likely to have a good outcome. But if you have psychosocial variables, for example, anxiety or depression or fear of movement or fear of pain, pain catastrophizing, like thinking bad things always happen to me, I'm going to be one of those people that fails this thing or that has ongoing pain, or being afraid of the pain after the surgery. Those are all things that set you up for a higher risk of actually having pain after surgery. And likewise, if you have higher pain levels before surgery and you have pain in other areas, when they're doing studies on knee replacements, they often test your pain sensitivity to pressure at your knee, but then also at another remote area, like, for example, your elbow. And people who have higher levels of widespread pain in areas that aren't their knee, that means that their nervous system is at a higher level of response. That if you think of your nerves like your body's alarm system that is supposed to help keep you safe and protect you from harm, if you have widespread pain, that alarm system is turned up. It's firing on a higher sensitivity. And that means that you're more likely to pick up on lower levels of input. So if your nerves are more sensitive, it makes sense that you're going to have higher levels of pain after surgery. So how do you use this to your advantage? Well, number one, you need to be really, really confident going into surgery that it's the right thing for you. It can't be your surgeon's decision. It can't be your family telling you you should really have a knee replacement. It needs to be your decision, and you need to own it, and you need to be confident that it's the right decision and that you're going to feel a lot better after having this knee surgery. And if you can go into it knowing that the pain's not being referred from your hip, it's not being caused by muscles or tendon around your knee, that you know that the pain is definitely from the knee arthritis and not from other factors, then you're very likely to have a good outcome. Likewise, you want to get your pain levels down before surgery. Good pre surgical pain control, for example, from having physical therapy, and not physical therapy that really pushes your strength and range of motion to the point of pain, but physical therapy that helps relieve the pain. Having some relaxing things done, for example, having massage the week before surgery. Making sure that you've got all your pre-surgical housework and prep done a week or so before the surgery so that you can kind of take it easy and relax and be in a calm, relaxed state going into surgery. That helps bring your pre-surgical pain levels down. And remember that higher pre-surgical pain levels predict higher post-surgical pain levels. So if you can bring your pre-surgical pain level down and lower your nervous system sensitivity before surgery, you're much more likely to have a better outcome after surgery. So that pre-surgical pain control is actually really important. And that brings me into the second top mistake after knee surgery, which is post-surgical pain control. Poor post-surgical pain control is another factor that really sets people back. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that your nervous system is kind of like an alarm system that helps keep you safe and prevent you from harm. It picks up on things that might be dangerous in your environment or in your body. And if you think about what really happens in a knee replacement surgery, somebody cuts through your skin with a knife, then they saw through your bone with a saw, and then they hammer a railroad spike into your bones, and then they staple you back up like Frankenstein. On a danger scale of 0 to 10, I would say that registers right up there at a 10. Now, the cognitive part of your brain knows that you're doing that for a good reason, but the more animal like subconscious part of your brain isn't aware of that. And so its first reaction is, what the heck just happened? And then the second reaction is, wait, nobody move, don't do anything that could possibly injure this area even more. And because I don't really trust you right now, I'm going to just tighten everything up so that you can't move. And that protective response actually keeps you from doing the thing that you really need to do, which is move. If you don't do your therapy right after surgery and you don't move right after surgery, you're going to have a much harder time regaining your range of motion and getting your muscles stronger, which is really pretty important to do. So take your pain medication. I know a lot of people really don't want to rely on pain medication or have to take pain medication, but it's really important to have good pain control after surgery. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that at More for Life, we help people stay active, mobile, and healthy without pain medications, injections, or surgeries. But if you're going to go so far as to have the surgery, then go all in and take the medications because it's going to help you do the things that you need to be able to do to have the most optimal recovery. And if you don't get your range of motion back soon after surgery, it's going to be much harder to get it back on the back end. And that's especially true with knee extension or straightening your leg. And that brings me to the third mistake that people make after knee surgery, and that's not getting full knee extension back quickly. When you have a knee surgery, you're going to be swollen initially, you're going to have a dressing on, and so your range of motion will initially be limited after the surgery. But pretty soon you want to start getting the knee moving because if you don't get your knee moving, all that swelling and bleeding in the area can start to create contractures in your muscles and in your joints where it gets stiff, and then you'll have a much harder time getting it to move down the road, or may even need a manipulation under anesthesia to break up some of that scar tissue. So it's really, really important to get early movement. And when you do have your therapy, a lot of times people will really, really focus on the bending, getting their knee to bend. And it is really rewarding to see your knee bend from 60 degrees to 70 degrees to 90 degrees up to eventually 100 or 120 or more degrees. But the important thing right off the bat is getting it straight, getting back your knee extension. And you don't see as big of improvements because usually you're only around 20 degrees away from full knee extension. And usually you're doing your home exercises or your exercises in the hospital in a bed. So your knee may look straight because your leg sinks into the mattress, even though it's not all the way straight. And it is really important to be able to get your knee straight because straightening your knee gives you more stability when you're walking. You don't have to use your muscles as much to help keep your knee straight and keep it from buckling. And when you do the knee straightening exercises, you actually get your quadriceps or your thigh muscles stronger so that you're also less likely to have your knee buckle down the road. So, getting that knee extension very early after the surgical process is really, really important. And you do want to focus on bending it too, but the bending will come more with time. You really, really want to focus on getting that knee extension early after surgery. Now, that brings me on to the fourth mistake that people make after a knee replacement, and that's skipping or neglecting their physical therapy. That even after you've gotten your knee straight and you've regained some of your bending range of motion, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. You've got to regain your strength, not just in your knee muscles, but in your hip muscles as well. You've got to regain flexibility in some of the muscles that were probably tight before surgery, which is probably most likely what caused the arthritis to come on in the first place. That just because you get a new knee and it stops hurting, it doesn't mean the dysfunctions, for example, hip weakness or calf tightness or quad tightness or hamstring tightness, those don't automatically go away. Additionally, getting good therapy and getting your muscles stronger will help you be able to go up and down stairs more comfortably, help you be able to get up and down from the ground more comfortably, help you be able to walk without a limp, without a cane or a walker. And so it's really, really important that even after the pain starts going away, you don't want to just think that everything is automatically better. You still want to finish up and follow through with the course of your physical therapy. And then the fifth mistake that people make is almost the extreme opposite of that, is pushing too hard. That after surgery, you're going to have pain, and that's natural. You're going to have to work through a little bit of pain when you're doing your exercises, but don't think of it as a no pain, no gain mentality. That just because you have pain, you don't have to push everything to where you're trying to regain every degree as quickly as possible. In fact, sometimes that's even counterproductive because remember, after surgery, your nerves have just been cut through, they're really irritable, and if you really, really push them to where you're in excruciating amounts of pain, they're going to go into a protective response. And that's going to tighten things up even more. It's going to tell your brain that movement is dangerous or harmful. And down the road, that's going to actually limit you. It's going to make you stiffer. It's going to increase your pain sensitivity, and it's going to keep you from recovering. As with most things in life, moderation is key. You don't want to be on either polar extreme. You want to be in the middle. And remember that knee replacement is highly successful. So if you follow the process and you don't try to rush the process, but you also don't skip out on the process and slack on the process, then you're likely to have a really good outcome. So those were the 5 tips to avoid. Number 1, make sure that you go into the surgery with a good positive mindset, knowing that it's absolutely the right thing for you and expecting that you're going to get better. Number 2, make sure that you have good post-operative pain control. Number 3, make sure that you get your knee extension range of motion back quickly. Number 4, make sure that you do your physical therapy and you get through the full course of your physical therapy, even if your pain goes away or stops hurting. And number 5 is make sure that you don't push too hard. Don't try to press things faster than they can. It's going to be a couple months recovery process, but in the end, you're going to turn out with a really good outcome if you avoid those 5 mistakes and do the opposite things instead. Now, there are some really good resources out there to help if you're going into a knee replacement. One is a book by Adrian Lowe. He's one of the top pain researchers in the world, and that book is called Your Nerves Are Having a Knee Replacement. It really helps you get in the right mindset and understand the nervous system aspect of having a knee replacement. Now, it is really more of a pamphlet, so don't expect a big novel. It's written in very simple, easy to understand terminology, and I'll put a link in this video where you can go pick that up on Amazon. Additionally, I've got a resource called 9 Things You Need to Know About Knee Arthritis Before Considering a Knee Replacement. And I'll also put a link below this video where you can download a copy of that absolutely for free. Now, if you happen to be in the St. Louis area and you need help for knee pain either before having a knee replacement to help you decide if you need a knee replacement or after having a knee replacement, we'd be happy to help you out at More for Life. And if you're watching this video from somewhere else, but you found it helpful, give the video a like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. And in the meantime, enjoy one of these other videos right over here.